Hi everyone and welcome to episode 241 of the Mike White's podcast. I'm Jack, as always joined by KC.
Now then?
How's things, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Bit cold.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Hence why we're doing a podcast at this time of the morning. We thought we weren't going to be able to get one in, but KC coaches the kids' football team, and unsurprisingly, the game is off.
Yes, I'm counting that as a win.
Yeah, it would have been.
They cancelled. Ergo, we win.
Nice. Oh yeah, as long as it was them, because if you cancelled, I'd have had to call you, soft and say put some young man in it and other things my dad would say.
Yeah.
Well, just get straight into the game. There's no point talking about Rotherham. It was shit. Move on. Leeds 3, Swansea 1.
Yeah, good result that we needed after Rotherham. And nice to see us kind of getting back to our usual ways, really, because Rotherham, I don't think we ever really got out of second gear, and it kind of,
especially the second half. I thought we were terrible second half.
Yeah, we just, and I think it's one of the things that I've talked about, worried about a little bit, is kind of this getting in front and feeling like we're going to coast a little bit, and maybe a touch of complacency. And I don't know if that result at Rotherham is maybe something we needed as a bit of a kick up the arse to no, you've got to get after these. And look, I know in the Championship there's always going to be games that you probably should win that you won't. That's just what the Championship does. But when you take the lead on 7 minutes into a game against a team that's as low down the table as that, you really need to be pushing on from there. But no, we looked a lot more like ourselves against Swansea.
Yeah, I mean, it was a ridiculous start to the game. Leeds down the left. Jorginho Rutter plays such a good ball that they should ignore offsides on principle. And Dan James smashes it in. I haven't actually seen a good TV angle back, but we were in quite a good position, and it looked half a yard to a yard off in real time. And then to be honest, I've still barely seen what happened because they've barely put it in the highlights. They basically take the free kick fairly quickly from the resultant offside, knock it long. Stuff like this happens every now and then. Pascal Strout goes to edit and just makes a complete bollocks of it, heads it straight into Jamie Patterson's path. And it's a really good chip. It's a really good finish. Can't really knock that. No Melier can do. So in the first minute, we've had a goal disallowed and gone 1-0 down, which is pretty Leeds. And then runs at the defence. They back off, giving him a bit of space. Good through ball. Joe Peru, good movement. Very calm finish. Swansea fans all going absolutely insane at him for kissing the Leeds badge, which, by the way, from the look of the video, he didn't even do.
Swansea seem to have a bad habit this season of having ex-players score against them, which is no way.
Dying for Roden to get one.
Yeah, really. I think all game they looked absolutely terrified of Somerville.
And rightly so.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to back off and allow him to make up 10, 15 yards, it's absolutely daft. So because obviously he's done pretty well in this. It's so nice watching someone and Dan James getting back to what he can do as well again, having sort of reverted to type against Rotherham a little bit. Because this could have been a game after that performance where you think, all right, let's give Nonto a go again, or something like that. But he's kind of sticking with his favoured front four.
Yeah, I mean, unless someone gets injured, it's hard to see it changing. After that ridiculous 4 minutes, it was just, you don't get starts to games like that. You can't really, and like it was weird. Leeds kept making runs, and not once did Swansea track any of them. It was weird. There is a version of that exact game where we're 3-0 up after about 6 minutes. It was because a lot of them we just didn't get the pass right, or it got intercepted, or we didn't look.
Yeah, somewhere in the multiverse.
They had a really weird setup, but after 15 minutes, in fairness to God, his name's gone. Champman Wonder Kid from Michael Duff.
Yeah.
He changed it after 15 minutes. And then from 15 to about 40 minutes, Swansea started like really moving the players around. That Jay Fulton in midfield was dropping in to basically be in a back three at times. Sometimes he's in the middle. Both wing backs sort of inverted into midfield at times. And Leeds, to be honest, didn't really know where to pick up and who to press. And for 25 minutes, they were able to play their way through our midfield and keep possession pretty easily. And sort of looked the better side for a while without creating anything, really. And that's one of the things that I like about us this year. That bit where we were not at it and we were struggling to keep the ball, and even though Stroud, not just a mistake, he had a bit of a weird game. He played a few sloppy passes and made a couple of weird decisions. But Roden was Stroud wasn't bad. He just had the bad error and then was okay. Roden was excellent. And the way he just marshalled the defence meant even though that they played their way through our midfield, they didn't really get anywhere. And I was very impressed with that. There was a weird bit where for some on telly this may have looked different. It looked like Glenn Kamara in the first half either needed to be way more aggressive and push even further up and really chase, or he needed to drop 10 yards. And he did neither. And then they just went round him like he wasn't there, off the ball. And it was only about 5 minutes before half time. And I don't know whether it's because Farke changed something in our press or because Swansea got a bit tired. But just that last 5 minutes, we started to get on top again. And given how the half had gone, I'd have been pretty happy with 1-1 at half time. And then, right on the stroke of half time, Ampadu's got the ball deep. No one even pretends to try and close him down. They give him so much time to take a touch, get it out of his feet, look up, check all his options, and he pings an absolutely perfect ball over top for Jorginho Rutter, who the only thing better than that pass was how sexy that first touch was. Defenders backing him, holds him off like it was a small child trying to knock him off the ball, and finishes really well. And Jorginho Rutter has a goal at Elland Road. Finally.
It was very odd when you look at the goal because you say they weren't pressing, and if you were to say a few minutes before half time, you know what, just sit back, cover deep, let them have the ball in their half, and let's just go in at half time at 1-1. But it's the fact that they don't seem to have anyone past the halfway line. But they're
also
back
a high line.
But really high line. So there seems to be about 30 yards of space in behind.
That's what makes me think it might have been tiredness.
Mm.
Because that doesn't make any sense as a plan. And given the previous 25 minutes, it seemed like they were quite well coached and had a plan and ideas. So that doesn't correlate. That's why I think it was just the players had tired themselves out a bit and just basically did what we've done a few times this season and just switched off before half time.
Yeah. Like you say, really, really nice touch. It's I'm going to say this. Jack Harrison is envious of that first touch. And that's not something I say very often.
Well, I saw a non-Leeds fan unironically call it Bergkamp-esque.
Oh.
Which, I mean, yes, please, but might be might be a bit early for that. Bergkamp was never this quick. But yeah, going in at 2-1 up was massive, and I really think getting that goal just on the stroke of half time, I think that was what won this game. I think if Swansea going at 1-1, I think it's a very different situation. And instead, for the second half, we were just on top throughout, really. They had a couple of moments, but nothing major. We just outplayed them. I think that whatever was going wrong in the press, Farke fixed at half time. And that was noticeable because Glenn Kamara went from not having a great game to having an excellent second half. The goal itself, it's very rare that the best bit of it's a tackle. Ball across, and Sam Byram absolutely crunches in all the ball. Not even all the man because he timed it that well, just like half the man. Into Rute's feet, turns, plays it through for Dan James, who's obviously quicker than the defender. A couple of steps to get away, left foot, smashed into the roof of the net. Really good finish, carrying on his great scoring run. I think that was 4 games in a row at Elland Road that he scored.
Yeah,
and I saw on Twitter he's the first Welshman to do that for Leeds since John Charles in March 1957, if I remember right.
Yeah, fair play. It's one of those records that doesn't really mean a lot, but
no, we haven't had that many.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
No, like you say, absolutely fantastic to see a tackle going like that on the halfway line. A tackle and a key pass in one fell swoop.
He got to the ball so early that I would be tempted to call that a pass. A pass with a follow through.
And yeah, Dan James making a good run in behind, using his pace like he should. And I'm not going to lie, I was quite concerned seeing that he took it onto his left foot, but the fair play to him, just smashes it.
I know I said this the other week to you, but it's true. He's got a weird level of composure this season that he just didn't have before. And I don't know if it's just because it's the Championship, you've got just that little half second more time. And I don't know if that's the reason why suddenly he looks composed, or if it's just that he's got his confidence back. But he does look. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt that he is first choice for that position. The front four should not change at all.
You can't deny the form that they are in together as a unit. It just when they're going, it's brilliant to watch. And I suppose that I think the thing for Dan James is you probably look at his time at Leeds in as much as he was someone who was brought in, who Bielsa clearly thought, I'm going to make him a striker.
Mm.
And it just didn't work. But you're now sort of seeing him ostensibly as a wide player, but given this ability to come inside. So, at times we can flood forward as a 3 or a 4, and all of them are within the width of the penalty area.
Yeah, and quite often the width of the penalty area and the two furthest forward are Somerville and James.
Yeah. You look at the amount of times it's actually Peru who's sort of back on the halfway line while the other 3 are just flying forward this season to arrive at the right time, or just time is run. Because especially as someone with that much speed, it's very easy for you to get caught offside.
As we saw after about 25 seconds.
Yeah. But you're just seeing this next level for him that I think he's finally hitting. And if he can keep this up, you'd look and go, I'd be more than happy to see him have a go at it. In the Premier League, should we get there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a long way away because unfortunately other teams do keep winning. Although Leicester drew with Sheff Wednesday, didn't they?
Yes, it was a 96th minute equaliser or something.
Yeah, Jeff Hendrick, I believe it was. Who apparently that's where he is. It was just a really good result. We probably should have got a 4th in this because we had a few really good chances to break at the end where we just didn't make the most of it. We played the wrong pass, or we just didn't use the saves properly. And Jaden Anthony had a really good chance that he headed over. But overall, it was just a solid, good, deserved win. We made several the normal changes. Strauch did limp off a bit with like 10-15 minutes to go, but by the sounds of a press conference, he's fine. Obviously Dallas is still out, but there's 2 new ones out. Gellart is out, even though, let's be honest, he wouldn't have been in anyway. And Firpo is injured again. Yay!
For roughly 3 weeks.
Yeah. Do you reckon he might be in? Look, and I am not accusing him of anything with this, but do you reckon he'll be back about the 1st of January and then go?
I think if we've got someone
Spain
lined
will
up,
check
we, I mean, we desperately need a left back, don't we?
Yeah.
It has to happen, and
as brilliant as Sam Byram has been, he is still not really a left back. Although in this system he is.
Yeah.
Also, it's Sam Byram. He is quite injury prone and stuff. You need another one.
Well, that's it. You know, even if you're saying these are our two left backs, and you're going yes, and they both can get injured on a very regular basis.
And one of them, as much as we all want him to come good, isn't any good. Although I will say, actually, to be fair, he actually played quite well when he came on. In this one, he had like two bits of like back post defending he needed to do, and he did them both well. He had one opportunity to release a counter attack with a relatively long ball, and he got the pass just right. And he didn't really have what else to do, so I can't complain about the performance.
I think, I honestly think now more so than how he has played for us is the fitness at this point, and he probably needs to go somewhere to be a backup for a half decent team.
The stories saying going back to Betis will not go away, will they?
No.
Like you see him constantly. So I think that's probably most likely.
He knows the club.
Yep. He was brilliant for them.
You know, I would love us to sign an out and out left back.
Yeah. This guy isn't an out and out left back, but Alex Benson is in the comments saying with Rico Lewis, Ake, Guardiola at City, I'd be asking for Sergio Gomez on loan in January. Well, that's exactly what I did on FM24. That's exactly who my left back was in the Championship.
I signed McCallum. I signed McCallum from Norwich, and he basically was averaging an assist. Like it was about every 70 minutes or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
So go get him.
Yeah, let's have him. We will, obviously, we're a bit pushed for time today because we didn't know we were going to be able to do this at all. There isn't any like real big. I mean, Nick Hammond is staying on. Good. There hasn't really been much news wise that's worth getting into at this point. So, in like 3 hours, Middlesbrough at home. This will not be an easy game. They're a good side of Middlesbrough. They're 10th, but it's because they had a dreadful start. And a dreadful start where there was a lot of games that they deserved a lot more from. Like their form is quite mixed, which is odd to see, but it's mixed, including like they beat Preston 4-0 in the last game. Before that, they got beat by Bristol City. Before that, they beat Leicester. They were really
it's properly inconsistent. Is this form?
Yeah.
It obviously disappointing for me, given my my high hopes for them this year that we were going to go up as the top two. It's really weird now looking at a Middlesbrough team because I don't really recognise it anymore. Because after years and years of Warnock, Pulis types keeping loads of players around for a fair while, they've now actually got some footballers.
Yeah, I mean, they've got that Morgan Rogers, haven't they? He's a Man City kid, and he's meant to be very good. Obviously, I mean, Sam Greenwood won't play in this game for obvious reasons. Johnny Howson's still going. They've also got that. They've got that Seny Dieng in goal, who has big errors in him, but for the most part, he's a very good goalkeeper. And he's very good with his feet as well. So you can expect Middlesbrough to be quite confident passing the ball around the back in the same way that we are. So a lot will come down to his pressing well again.
I was trying to find Johnny Howson on the Google squad page for them, and I was really struggling to picking him out, but it's because he's wearing the blue Netflix kit. Oh, Johnny.
Yeah, Paddy McNair at the back's pretty decent. I don't really like their other centre back appears to be this Vandenberg guy. I must admit, I don't know about him.
Rav.
I believe I've still got Dale Frivo, and he's a good young centre back.
Yeah. I say, kind of just looking through it, it's odd. It's not the Middlesbrough now. Where's the shit strikers? Where's the 37-year-old centre back that's 6'5"? Oh, it's Paddy McNair. Sorry. I don't know how old Paddy McNair is.
I was going to say, I bet Paddy McNair is so much younger than you think he is.
He's 28.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paddy.
Yeah. I thought, I knew that he wasn't that old. I didn't realise he was, 28 is in his prime. We've also got Dan Barlaser in midfield, who must have obviously got better, because I remember Dan Barlaser from him being quite good at Accrington Stanley. Which I believe was a loan move from someone in the Premier League. Everton, I want to say, but I might be wrong.
I'm just gonna go with deliberately ignoring what his first name is and say I can't believe Al Bangura is still going.
Yeah. Well, it is Al Bangura. His name is Alex. It's a different Al Bangura, but it is Al Bangura. I've just in case there was any massive injuries I didn't know about, I did just get up who scored predicted lineups and realised there's no point doing that because they have Sam Greenwood playing. So
someone else.
Yeah. But it'll be 4-2-3-1 against 4-2-3-1. I think this will be a tough game. I think they've got a lot of good players, and as much as he was at Scum forever, Michael Carrick appears to be a good manager from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what he did last season, and he did so well with them. Obviously, I think he ended up losing a couple of players, but they've recovered because they were lower mid-table fairly early on. They dropped quite a lot of points, but they seem to have turned it around fairly quickly and got them back into mid-table at least. I mean, from where they are 3 points off the playoffs.
And you would expect them to go like the way that they're playing and stuff. You would think that there's a pretty good chance of them getting into the playoffs. They are better than their position suggests. I'm just looking through their squad, and unless this Emmanuel Lath is better than I know, because I don't know anything about him, to be honest. When I look through the rest of the squad, it does look very light in terms of strikers. So, like, in theory, if we defend well, like Josh Coburn is, he's good, but he's not great. Same for Marcus Force. They're all just all right players. Yeah. This Rav Vandenberg that's been playing at centre back is only 19, so he might be better than a real. I don't know about him, but if he's getting in the team already, he must be some good. Do you reckon? I mean, as based on the press conference, there's nothing injury-wise to say. So are we assuming the same team?
Yeah, like you say, not that either one of Gelhardt probably wasn't going to be on the bench, and Firpo would have been a sub. So it probably means Luke Ayling's back on the bench.
Or Shackleton.
Yeah, true.
To be a left back.
Yeah. It's probably worth saying as well that Jed Spence back on the bench.
Yeah, I do think, because I heard a few people and saw some people on Twitter saying they couldn't believe Spence didn't get on, and I couldn't either. But I honestly think the plan was to bring him on with 10 minutes left. Apologies, by the way, if you can hear my daughter shouting the place down.
She's absolutely devastated Jed Spence didn't get on.
Yeah, I think that the plan would have been for Jed Spence to get the last 10 minutes, and then Strauch had that little bit of cramp, so he brought Cooper on instead. I think that the plan would have been 10 minutes. If he'd have come on in that game, then I might have thought that Spence starts today. But because he didn't, I think he'll just be on the bench. But I think he'll definitely get minutes today. Because he's ex-Borough as well, isn't he?
Yes.
So
sort of where he had, was it there? It was Forest where he had his good run, wasn't it?
It was Forest. Well, it was Forest on loan from Middlesbrough. Warnock shipped him out of Middlesbrough, and then he went to Forest, won like Player at Year and got promoted.
No, mate. Neil Warnock identified a good young talent, but just thought this isn't quite the right environment, so I'm going to allow him to go.
Yeah, that's how that works, isn't it?
That is the Neil Warnock method. Tried and true. I will give young players a chance elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Alex and Connie have both messaged me with their predictions. Both of them have gone for a 2-1 win, as they did against Swansea. By the way, just I should mention we all had a win by the wrong score against Swansea, and then Alex, Connie, KC, you all had us beating Rotherham, and because I'm an eternal pessimist, I had a 1-1 draw, which has brought me right back into contention.
And you know what? 7 minutes in, I was feeling very confident.
Yeah. So, yeah, Alex and Connie have both gone for a 2-1 win. My pessimism has kicked in again this morning, so I've got 2-2.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Oof, we're both going for a draw.
Which is, I'm trying to think, but there's probably not many games where I've backed the draw this season.
You had, I can tell you, you had us 2-2 away at Leicester. You had us 2-2 away at Southampton. You had us 1-1 away at Millwall. 1-1 at home.
I predicted a lot of draws then.
Yeah, 1-1 at home to West Brom, which you were correct about, and that's all of them.
Yeah, okay.
You do have one weird pessimistic where you had us losing 2-1 to QPR. And it's the only loss you predicted this. You didn't predict us to get. You didn't predict us to get beat at Ipswich. You didn't predict us to get beat at Leicester. Home to QPR.
But is that not because I thought we were playing Leicester?
Oh yes, it was, wasn't it? You thought you had completely the wrong game in your head when you sent the prediction in.
Yeah, I thought we were playing Leicester at home, and I thought we might lose that one. So yeah, it came out awful. Oh dear. I'm good at this, mate.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, KC, you are winning.
It'll all go to part at the end of the season.
You have 20. You 24, Connie 22, me 20, Alex 16. So our theory that an outsider might actually beat us because they'd be a bit less emotionally invested so far is not true.
Yeah.
But I think that's because we've been good. If we'd have been shit, he'd probably won everything. Do we have anything else to add before we call it, mate?
No, I think we've hit everything there.
Cool. I'm fancying Rodon to have a really good game today and drive us forward a lot. And that the way that they play, I would fancy Dan James to be good in this game as well. Because I think he's going to get a lot of chances to be good off the ball. And I think he'll get enough space to be good on it.
Yeah. Again, if we get on top of them, I'd back us to the hill because I don't think there's many teams in the Championship can cope with us when we get playing. I think it's that midfield area.
Yeah. Well, that will do us for episode 241 of the podcast. I will upload it immediately so that it's out in time for the game. Hopefully, we can be talking about a win fairly soon. I'm just trying to. Do we have a midweek game this week? I can't remember.
Have we got Blackburn, or is that next weekend?
That's next. That's the 9th. Yeah, that's half 12 on Saturday. So yeah, no midweek game this week. So we'll probably be back. But likely it'll be Tuesday or Thursday. Those are probably the most likely in terms of work schedules and things like that. So that'll do us. I've been Jack. See you.
I'm in KC. Have a good